Yo, how's everybody doing? So, if you've been following the channel at all, you know that we've been being harassed because we decided to park our RV, illegal I might add, in street parking. And so, a concerned citizen here who is upset that this eyesore is taking up their parking spaces, that they have the gumption and the nerve to call the cops. When that didn't work, they called DHS, which is the Pennsylvania state version of CPS, Child Protective Services, Department of Human Services, or as I've heard from my research on them, demonic horror story because of what they're able to do. He called non-emergency cops, the 311 line, and then after all that didn't work, he sent us a letter. So I'm trying to cover my parents' address here. Here's the letter, postmarked December 1st, sent to my mom. No return address. This guy has found a way to remain anonymous throughout this entire thing, which is super pathetic in my opinion. Like, if you have an issue with somebody, like, as a man, because we found out this guy's a man. I couldn't believe it. I totally thought it was a woman, but I was wrong. As a man, when you have a problem with somebody in your community, you talk to them one-on-one, man-to-man, okay? That's how men act. Now, some men have yet to evolve into boys. These are men that are older than me. They've yet to evolve from boys to men. So let's read this nonsense. See what this guy had to say. The official letter reads, "It is not right that your RV is parked on a residential street taking up parking spaces." Actually, it's perfectly right. It's fine. It's legal. It's my natural right. This is legal parking. Anybody else can park their cars here, whether they're vans, trucks, a fucking FedEx truck. Do you know what I mean? Like a U-Haul truck, that'll probably park on one of these streets when they unload shit. And so we got our little RV back here. It's not illegal to have a big car on the street. And it's also, besides legality, just not wrong in general. And then his next line, and you continue to park on the street too. You park on the corner and think it doesn't take up space, but it does. He's talking about when I basically park illegally in front of these things because there's no spots left. And so he's watching me park my fucking mom's car that I'm driving around. I got a stalker. Please have the RV moved. It's just not right. Tell your son to pay to park it somewhere else. Plus, it's an eyesore. Do you know what a fucking eyesore is? An eyesore is the fact that there's a guy here hiding in his house like a little fucking coward, afraid to tell us his true feelings about the RV. Because, well, I won't put words in his mouth, but there's 3 different state agencies on you and tries to get your kids taken. Like, you know what I mean? He went as low as to call DHS and make up some shit that we were trying to train him to live in the cold or something. It was so ridiculous. The report that I read, like, on their paperwork was insane. So you got this guy fucking calling DHS on us, trying to get the kids in trouble or something, like trying to scare us with that. Like, yo, cuz, are you serious? Like, you could set him. What they actually would have learned is that my parents have stopped parking their cars on the street. You know what I mean? Like, we have moved most of our cars to take up that much space anyway off the street out of courtesy for all these people. But we have this one guy who wants to fucking send us letters and call the cops. And, you know, we're asking the cops, who was it? Asking 311, who was it? They're like, they're protected. We have to protect them. I'm like, what about protecting my kids? My kids are getting threatened by a psychopath who thinks it's cool to try to get kids taken away from their families in an effort to strong arm them to move in the RV off the street so he don't have to look at it. Like, how pathetic can you be, dude? And, like, I'm going to start talking a little bit louder because I want everybody up the street to know that there's somebody around here to try and get the RV moved and trying to get my family in trouble somehow. And the ironic part is every fucking institution that they call, whether it's the cops, whether it's non-emergency, they all tell us and him the same thing. They're like, dude, they're allowed to do that. They're allowed to park a vehicle in a parking space. They're allowed to run electric from their circuit breakers to that vehicle. It's all legal. This is what 311 told us. I ain't making this shit up. This is what the cops told us after he called them on us. And because this dude literally is so, like, impotent and he can't get these state agencies to do his bidding for him, now he's resorted to sending us letters. So my mom and Alma actually wrote great letters back to him. Maybe I'll go in and read them at the very end of the stream. But, like, dude, this is an issue that only exists and is only an issue because of the fact that state agencies exist that are willing to take advantage of these people's like disgruntled disdain and give them a platform to harass other people and to affect their lives. Like I was telling my mom, if we were cavemen and my RV was parked outside of my cave and some dude came up to me and was like, hey, yo, man, you got to move that or else I'm going to try and take your kids. You know, he would be dinner. Like, you know, he would be killed on the spot. And if we ate meat back then, I would feed him to my fucking family. Like, that dude doesn't need to live. He's willing to try and affect a family in a very negative way. Like, separate like children from their mother. Like, it ain't just about calling the cops and getting us a ticket or something. Now he's trying to get the kids taken. And the DHS not only is willing to like come into our house and try and investigate us. Are the kids, are you training them to survive in the cold? No, we're living in my parents' house and it's wonderful. And even if we were living in the RV, it has heat and it's also not illegal. So what the fuck is this issue about? So I can't even come visit my family without a harassment from a fucking disgruntled ass neighbor who won't reveal himself. And I mean, I know he won't reveal himself because he's a coward. Because he's using the state. And see, this is the problem. The state gives cowardly people who would otherwise not be able to do anything without actually taking on some sort of liability themselves. It gives them a free pass to start trouble with people and to try and create problems for somebody. And it protects them from repercussions if they make false allegations and harass people. Like, we're being harassed by an anonymous faceless person who lives up the street, who is like aware of all of our daily activities apparently. He knows what the kids wear, he knows where I like to park my mom's car, but yet he don't want to come and say hi and have a conversation about it. Please, if you're watching this video, bro, who lives on 16th Street, please come knock on the door and talk to me. I would love to have a discussion with you. I would love to talk about everything that's bothering you and why you're a retard for it. And I guarantee you this person would come with his tail between his legs if he had to do that. So if you're in South Philly and you know this shit, or even if you don't know who it is, just talk shit on this guy. Just like when you're at church or when you're at the park, just say, hey, yo, my buddy Carm is living in front of his parents' house for a month with his RV, and some guy on 16th Street is making trouble for him. Because who knows, you could be talking to that exact person or somebody who knows them. So like, I would love if that person got that, you know, dude, we're pissed off. Like, you can't do that. And even the fucking people that you're calling are telling you can't do that. The cops are telling you can't do that. So now he's down to sending letters. This dude sent us a fucking letter. I read it in the beginning of the video. It's so ridiculous. Like, look at this. He fucking mailed it. And he left his return address off, too. Because he's petrified. And this is the issue. This is the greater issue here, is that the state gives a means for cowardly, sick, angry, evil people to take out that rage on other people via proxy by giving this faceless organization like DHS or, you know, whatever police situation you're dealing with, giving them information that somehow they're legally required to act on it and give you a hard time. Like, he made up fake shit about the kids being, we were training them to survive in the cold. Yeah, it was fucking like huskies, like mush. Fucking so ridiculous. And they literally are stupid enough to have to, I mean, I'm sure that lady knew that was bullshit, but like still, legally she's required to come out and do something about it. And legally, I have no recourse. I can't find out who this guy who made up these fake allegations is, and I can't go talk to him. He can hide, and the state will protect him, even though he is the aggressor. And this is the issue. Like, we can't have institutions like DHS or even the police be able to harass people based on nonsense. And we also can't have them, if they are going to do that, covering for the people who are harassing them. It's insanity. It's absolute insanity. And like I said, in a real communal society, like in Jackalope, if they didn't like where our RV was parked, they're going to have to come up to the RV and tell us. You know what I mean? They're going to have to come up and deal with it themselves. And that's why I promote anarchy and anarcho-capitalism and individualism, because it's actually a philosophy of personal responsibility. Like, dude, if this bothers you that much, you're going to have to put your John Hancock on it. You're going to have to put your face on it, like I'm doing right here, and say how you feel. And be honest, you know? And if you're ashamed of feeling that way, or if you don't want people to know you feel that way, well, maybe that's your fucking conscience telling you not to do it. But if you have this tool, this hotline that you can call to take out that rage from the safety of your living room, and then watch out your window as like some agent of the state acts as a proxy for your rage and tries to kidnap somebody's kids based on an RV being parked out front. I mean, people like that should not have access to the tools and institutions. If you take away, because that dude is gonna suck for the rest of his life. Like, I can't change that. But what we can change is giving him some sort of a platform or some sort of a path of action to create these kind of problems for people based on nonsense, based on false allegations, and based on him just making up shit because he's pissed that the RV's up the street. So, dude, like, yo, if you're watching this guy, like, just come talk to me, please. Like, I won't hurt you or anything, like, because you're, like, I don't get any rise out of, like, hurting weak, cowardly people. Hey, what's up, Madison? She goes, yes, 100. I mean, as a woman, I don't even know you, but I bet you have had to deal with something like this. I bet you have had to deal with somebody harassing you in this capacity, whether they're from the state or not. You know what I mean? And how many times do people's like fucking crazy ex-boyfriends or ex-wives, you know, bring the state involved, whether it's divorce shit, whether it's fucking CPS shit, DHS shit, custody battles, like it's all this weird fucking quagmire of bullshit that wouldn't be allowed to happen if the state didn't have this weird, it's like, daddy setup where they could come in and play daddy and be like, oh, we're gonna come and take care of it for you. You be a good little boy, you little faggot mail sender, and we'll go take care of it for you. She said, I just got kicked off a plane. What up, Mass? That's great. What'd you get kicked off for? Not wearing a mask? my sister was dealing with the same shit. She fucking cut a hole through her mask. It's crazy, dude. That's another reason why I need the RV thing. Shout out to LCM Fitness, best fitness gym in South Philly. Let's go. Being harassed because my mask wasn't good enough. They tried to make me wear a stupid paper one, says Madison Whitmore. I thought anything counted. I thought you could just do this, and it's like, oh, look, it's covered. We're covered safe. The map cow goes, mask holes. Yeah, I know. And that's what I'm saying. And now we have this. So to tie this into current events and how this setup that this guy took advantage of, which was, what's up, Dad? I mean, it's my fucking neighborhood. Like, my family's driving around here, and I got somebody up this block. I don't know who it is. One of these motherfuckers is dealing with shit. Hey, was it you, motherfucker? You just honked at me. Was it you who were calling this on us, you old fuck? So, like, some people can find love in their communities, but then other people, like, they get trapped in these fucking row homes. Like, all their friends die and shit, and they just become old and filled with hate and disgruntledness. English says the mask of the beast. Madison's laughing. I'm glad I made you laugh. That's so stupid that we have to deal with that. But yeah, to tie this sort of like cowardly people taking their fear and acting on it through the state to give people who aren't afraid legal trouble and actual danger, that mechanism of society should not and cannot be allowed to continue. That mechanism of society, DHS and like whatever contact tracing thing they're setting up for the COVID stuff, you know, the snitch hotline, pussy ass people who haven't looked into viruses and who don't take care of their health are going to start now, you know, making phone calls on people like Madison for not wearing the proper mask. Oh, I'm sorry, this isn't good enough. I need the paper one that doesn't stop viral sized particles from going through. Do you guys look at the science? Do you guys test things on your own, or do you just buy everything you hear on TV? It's fucking insanity, dude. So yeah, like they're going to use these kind of mechanisms to enforce the COVID stuff. Like, you know, somebody on your neighbors are going to learn that you don't wear masks at some point. Your neighbors are going to learn that you don't vaccinate, and they're going to be able to call some sort of state agency based on their fear. Oh, they're going to harm me by not putting toxic shit into their bloodstream and not putting a fucking oxygen damper on their face. These people are going to hurt me for not complying with tyranny. So I'm going to use the state to make trouble for them. We have to stop that as a society. And like, it's going to be hard to make the state agencies go away, but hopefully you motherfuckers out there who are this evil can like transcend that a little bit. Like, I really don't have faith for my man because he's relentless. He's called, like, it's like a daily job for this dude to like make trouble. So like, Madison goes, never open your door. I agree. It's so funny. If you go to the CPS thing, I ended up having to film because my dad answered the door. I start talking to this lady, and I'm just telling her I don't answer questions. But then, you know, my dad gets involved, and it's this whole fucking charade. You can go check that out. CPS Sucks Part 1. But, like, dude, yeah, like, it's insane. Like, now we have to battle with the state because of this dude. So, like, we have to stop that. This is where it's going to go with the COVID stuff. The masks and the vaccines. These guys, these pussies who are calling for having RVs on the blocks are going to do the same thing with the masks and the vaccines. And we have to collectively say no to that. Whether we have to confront those people ourselves, confront the state agencies, or confront them all. We can't sit by and let this happen, because this is how you descend into tyranny and slavery. And that's not going to fly. Let me catch up on the comments. You guys are being really talky this morning. I like it. So, English goes the mask of the beast. Yeah, the mask of the beast, exactly, the mark of the beast. What is Gates talking about putting in this COVID vaccine? A quantum tattoo, a digital ID. And then boom, if you don't have your mark, you can't exchange in commerce. This is literally in the Bible. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not like a hardcore devout Christian. I believe in spirituality, and I believe that all religions point to a deeper spiritual truth. But the Bible's right about this. They literally like spell out the mark of the beast and how you will not be able to be free or engage in commerce without it. That's what this vaccine is. You know what I mean? And they're just using the mask as like the stepping stone to that, to test everybody's complicity. Jude 3 goes, that's why you have to move out to the sticks, 2 acres minimum. Jude, it's so funny, we just came from the sticks, where Jackalope Freedom Festival is held. It's a beautiful national forest that anybody can pretty much camp for indefinitely. And we stayed out there with the RV for 2 months. And it literally not a single issue. You know what I mean? Kids running around doing whatever they want. Nobody called nothing because nobody's there except for fucking squirrels and coyotes. And I'd rather live around a bunch of coyotes because they're nice and they leave you alone. I love coyotes. I hear them eating every morning and they never come and bother us. But now I got like little fucking fake coyotes in the fucking block calling the fucking state. It's crazy. The Map Crow says, recall Theodore Wolf. Yeah, big fuck you to Governor Tom Wolf. If you guys aren't looking into it, look into the election fraud stuff. Donald Trump is actually being like boxed out of this election by international forces, and it's all coming out. He's having testimony in front of the legislatures, and we're gonna find out that like the globalists tried to steal the election and failed because it's all coming out. So that's cool. And I think Wolf's gonna go down with that too because he participated in all the fraud that happened here in Philadelphia. But that's another topic for another time. Teacher Quan says, heart, thanks Quan, appreciate it. English, collaborators were called capos during World War II. Yeah, capos, like this is just your next capo right here. Just these people who like the state will offer incentives to them to do this. They'll give them this phony power that they would not otherwise have. They would have to earn that power. If they wanted that RV removed from the bottom of their heart righteously, the righteous thing to do would be to confront the people with the RV, express your feelings, have a discussion as humans, and move forward that way. Not fucking call some state agent who has some weird authority who can like kidnap your kids legally somehow. That's evil insanity. And honestly, that dude deserves to get his teeth knocked out for it. And I would love to do that. I really would. Like, like I said, I don't like picking on people, but like, dude, at this point, like, you're harassing my family, bro. Like, I'm sorry, but you gotta get straightened out for that. Like, that's a 1-2 to the face anywhere. Madison goes, exactly, she agrees. We need to get comfortable with using the law. Yeah, and standing up for ourselves. Like, I flex constitutional rights a lot with the masks. You know what I mean? Just say, like, I have a medical condition that doesn't allow me to wear a mask, and flex your legal rights. You have to fight this witchcraft battle back. They put you in it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, but if somebody comes up and tries to hit you, you have to fight them back if they're not going to stop hitting you. And in this world, they attack with words. It's all fucking witchcraft, black magic, vocal bullshit that like you have to sword fight them with your words. And if you're good with your you know, diction, your vocabulary, your vernacular, and your way you deliver yourself, and you know what to say, you can win. So you just have to educate yourself. And like, look, I knew they didn't have nothing, but like my poor wife is like in shambles. Like she's freaking out. She wants to leave like ASAP. She's like afraid, you know what I mean? And like, it's crazy that they'll be able to prey on somebody like that and make my wife feel that way. And I can't do nothing about it because the state's gonna protect them, even though they had false allegations on us to get this whole nonsense started. She goes, Madison goes, we need to start studying and handing out our notices. I agree. Look up notice of violation. You can actually like sue the people directly. So like I can't have a good chance at suing CPS and winning, but I can actually, because that woman was physically there in the house, I can make a case civilly about her and fine her for causing us harm and for violating our rights. Her as a person, not CPS as an entity. So when you make that person individually liable for it, it changes the whole game. Because again, oh my God, once you have to face the personal responsibility for what you're doing, your disposition changes. But at any rate, this shit is about to die. I thought I charged it up enough. I actually didn't think I would spend this much time on this rant, but you guys are being cool and talking to me, so I'm keeping it love. Madison goes, this is unacceptable. The common law, let's get our real IDs. Exactly. Look into common law, look into natural law, look into the difference between something being lawful and something being legal, and obviously the converse of that, unlawful versus illegal. Sorry, I lost the video. But yeah, look into that kind of stuff, because you're going to have to flex your constitutional rights at a certain